Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Scholes. Today we have another Italian folktale, again coming from Thomas Frederick Crane, and it's one of those short, sweet tales that ends very sadly and teaches a story about overconsumption and how bad it is. This is The Ant and the Mouse. There was once an ant who, while sweeping her house one day, found 3 quattrini, and began to say, "What shall I buy? What shall I buy? Shall I buy meat? No, because meat has bones, and I should choke. Shall I buy fish? No, for fish has bones, and I should be scratched." After she had mentioned many other things, she concluded to buy a red ribbon. She put it on, and sat in the window. An ox passed by and said, "How pretty you are! Do you want me for your husband?" She said, "Sing, so that I may hear your voice." The ox with great pride raised his voice. After the ant had heard it, she said, No, you frighten me." A dog passed by, and the same happened to him as to the ox. After many animals had passed, a little mouse went by and said, "How pretty you are! Do you want me for your husband?" She said, "Let me hear you sing." The mouse sang and went, "Pee, pee, pee." His voice pleased the ant, and she took him for her husband. Sunday came, and while the ant was with her friends, the mouse said, "My dear little ant, I'm going to see whether the meat that you have put on the fire is done." He went, and when he smelled the odor of the meat, he wanted to take a little. He put in one paw and burned it. He put in the other and burned that too. He stuck in his nose, and the smoke drew him into the pot, and the poor little mouse was all burned. The ant waited for him to eat. She waited 2. She waited 3 hours. The mouse did not come. When she could no longer wait, she put the dinner on the table. But when she took out the meat, out came the mouse dead. When she saw him, the ant began to weep. And the ant remained a widow, because he who is a mouse must be a glutton. If you don't believe it, go to her house, and you will see her. And that is the Italian folktale of the ant and the mouse, teaching us about how terrible gluttony is, but also, well, lumping all those poor mice together into one pot. Well, that seems a little cruel of a saying now, doesn't it? This is Dan Scholes for the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast, anywhere you like to get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. And you can always head over to folktaleproject.com, where you'll find a new story waiting for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As always, thank you so much for listening.